How's it going, everybody? Jake here. Welcome back to Dude Ranch DIY. We are in a big rush, but just picked up the new trailer, just hooked it up, as you could say, to the back of the truck. Let me show you what we got going on. Well, all right, guys, here she is in all her beauty. This is a 2016 Big Tex 14 ET. It stands for 14-ton equipment trailer with a 3-foot dovetail in the back. Is I believe it's a 17 or 18-foot deck with a 3-foot dovetail. Does need a little work. It's missing a fender, as you can see. That one over there is hanging on, but you know, it could be replaced as well. I'm actually gonna have my buddy Chris weld up some new fenders that we can stand on, and that'll be super durable. But overall, the thing's in good shape. Needs a new toolbox up in the front, but again, that is easily fixable. Lights seem to work. I've never hooked it up to the truck before, but figured this would be a good test. Yep, lights work on that side, and lights work on that side. So we are in good shape. We are going to run over to my other buddy Chris's house, pick him up, and head up to finish up work on the conveyor and hopefully take it home. All right, guys, we are back here. Chris got the trough all welded up. It looks pretty darn good. Chris and I just took off all of the old paddles on the bottom there, and now Chris is up there with a torch, and he's trying to align these sprockets at the top end. We have sprockets at the bottom, sprockets at the top. He's trying to align the sprockets at the top. All right, so the issue here is that sprockets up there at the top, the teeth on them are not aligned, and the set screw in there there's a tool broken off in the set screw, so Chris is now trying to melt out the keyway. That way we can slide the sprocket over and align it, and then just weld it back. All right, guys, we got the sprocket off, repositioned, realigned with this sprocket, and re-welded. We then just adjusted the chain so that we have a mounting tab there and a mounting tab here. Chris is connecting up the new hydraulic lines that we picked up on the way up here today, and this Chris is here for moral support.
Oh yeah. I'm getting my hands dirty.
No, he's getting his hands dirty. He's doing great, and he's holding the camera case. So yeah, the next thing we're gonna start doing is Chris got out the bandsaw for the angle iron, and we got 40 foot of it here. So we are going to start making our paddles. Okay, take two. Here we go. There we go.
Joy and safety when you switch to Optimum Mobile.
First tab is on. Okay guys, we just spent a bunch of time breaking the chain, adding new links. We have all 16 mounting points. Chris is now grinding out all of the mounting tabs. That way we can weld on our paddles. We got one in there right now. That was a test. They're all lined up, ready to go. Well guys, we're calling it done. We got all the new paddles on. We have fixed sprocket issues. We have broken the chain. How many times have we broken the chain, Chris?
At least 4.
At least 4, yeah. Countless times, but...
Like, actually broke the chain. We didn't...
Oh yeah, we actually broke the chain, like physically broke the chain at least 4 or 5 times. Yeah. But we broke the chain and moved links around and got everything all lined up countless times. But we're calling it good for now. It works. Last thing we have to do once we get back to the wood yard is get a mud flap or something to put down here so the wood doesn't slide backwards. But we have this angle iron to mount to. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up. We got new hydraulic hoses on here. So I guess the end of this video will probably be us testing this thing out with firewood for the first time. What do you think there, Chris? Glad to see it leave?
Yeah.
All right, so...
That was a good project.
I always bring you good projects, right? Yeah. All right, so now we're going to load it up onto the new to me trailer. It should be a lot easier than the dump trailer. And that's going to wrap it up. So we'll catch back up with you in a day or two in the wood yard. Well, all right, guys, that's a wrap. Conveyor on the new trailer. Fits like a dream. It was super easy to strap down and get on there. Much easier than the dump trailer. So I shut it off. So we're gonna head on home and we will catch you whenever we try this thing out for the first time. Okay guys, we are back the following day. I just wanted to go over things a little bit more in detail here. First of all, here's the new trailer. It's a Big Tex 2016 Big Tex 14 ET. The 14 stands for a 14,000 pound trailer, you know, 2 7,000 pound axles. New to me, needs a new fender over on the other side, needs a new toolbox, and probably fix, I think most of the lights work, but there's just like little stuff that needs like some welding and patchwork and stuff like that. Overall, the deck is super clean, in really good shape. The ramps function, they're a little rough, but you know, they work. Missing some pieces of angle iron, might need to, you know, knock down some of these sharp corners so that we don't pop a tire or anything. But just little stuff, really, for the most part. Now to the conveyor. Here is what we got done. New catch tray, as you can see. It should pair up pretty well to the height of the RuggedMade splitter. I might need to notch out this piece a little bit, depending on how level we can get the splitter and everything. Here are our new angle iron paddles, 1-inch angle iron. Figured we would start there, and if we need more height, the plan is to drill a couple holes and put in like some horse stall mat or you know, mud flap. I think horse stall mat though, because it's a little thicker and more, you know, less pliable, to give us a little extra height. We're also, I know I mentioned last night, but we're going to be mounting and drilling out this angle iron there to mount a rubber flap. That way it prevents the wood from sliding backwards. Now, the biggest issue that we had at the shop was these sprockets, both on the bottom and up on the top. The ones on the top were about a half a tooth off from each other, meaning that one sprocket was about a half a tooth distance for more advanced than the other one. As you can see here, these ones at the bottom are perfectly synced up. However, you will notice that that one has a cotter pin going through it, and this one does not. There's also a fresh cut there. Once we got the sprockets up at the top synced up, there was a broken set screw in the front up there. I'm running out of trailer, so I can't get too far up, but there was a broken set screw up there, basically. And if I can hop up in the bed of the truck, yeah, you can see here where Chris actually just cut the keyway out of this sprocket and welded the sprocket in position. So now those two sprockets are lined up. One is no longer more advanced than the other one. And that was causing us issues as far as the paddles being out of whack and throwing the chain. Once we were able to fix that and determine that was the issue, we were able to come down here and we started making the paddles, you know, these angle iron paddles. Now we measured up there the sprocket distance, and we measured down here, and these sprockets down here were a little bit closer together than the sprockets up at the top there. And this one, similar to this sprocket, had a cotter pin going through a hole in the sprocket and on the shaft. We decided to 86 that cotter pin and just let this sprocket kind of freewheel. The tension of the chain, this chain is pretty tight. The tension of the chain was keeping it exactly where it needed to be, in position. And we think that that is going to alleviate the issue of it breaking links and popping the chain off the sprocket when these crossbars go over it. We're hoping that's going to be a fix.
I just want to pause here and say that for those of you that are thinking, oh, well, now that shaft is just going to spin freely on that sprocket, or the sprocket's going to spin freely on the shaft, that's okay, because these two sprockets at the bottom are not the conveyor drive sprockets. The conveyor is powered or driven by the sprockets up at the top, so this shaft just kind of free spins in its pillow bearings anyway.
You know, in the future, we can always, if it starts wobbling back and forth or walking itself over, we can always drill a new hole through the shaft and put a cotter pin or weld the sprocket. But for now, this one will kind of keep everything where it wants to be instead of us determining, you know, where the chain is going to lie. So that's kind of where we're at with that. I hope that kind of makes sense. All of this needs to get painted, at least this part. I don't think we're gonna paint the galvanized part, probably just the frame, hit it with a wire wheel quick and call it a day. But the motor, you know, is at an angle now because the conveyor is all the way down, but we got that all hooked up. All new hydraulic lines running over to the motor. This is a belt-driven conveyor, so if there is a jam, the belt just slips, which is great. All of our pillow bearings are in good shape. We took off this drive chain purely for transportation purposes. So that's it. Those are the modifications to the conveyor. This is the new trailer. I'm looking forward to getting a lot of years of service out of this thing. I think it's gonna be a lot easier moving the tractor around than the dump trailer. All right, guys, so basically this is the hitch. It's just your standard, you know, pin kind of hitch here. Somebody at some point had welded on this bracket, and the hitch kind of folds down out of the way. It's kind of nice because it rotates on this pin here. So I got another pin there, and all I'm gonna do to pull it off the trailer is use my slip-on hitch adapter thing with a hitch that I took the ball off of. So that should work pretty well by just dropping a pin down through there, and we should be able to get the conveyor off the trailer with relative ease. So let's give this a shot. All right, guys, so I'm just going to fold down these ramps, and we should be able to get this thing right off with little problems. This trailer is so much easier to strap things down to as opposed to the dump trailer. That was one of the main reasons why I had been looking for an equipment trailer, just because so often I don't really use the dump trailer for its dumping capability, more just to be able to haul the tractor around or, you know, pick something up. So having a trailer like this is going to be really nice. There we go. Okay, wasn't too hard. Okay, so that's hooked up. We're all unstrapped. Let's try and get this puppy off. All right, that went super smooth. I don't know how close I'm gonna be able to get this with the tractor. That's probably about close enough. Yeah, see, this pin, definitely need a new pin, but for the time being, that's okay. Let's see, let me take the tongue off the splitter. So that's out of the way. There's a lot of moving parts here. So now, the hope is that this all pairs up. So let's see. It's kind of awkward to, yeah, kind of awkward to move. That's over it, for sure. Okay, so I don't think we need to notch anything out. I mean, for the time being, this is perfect. This trough that Chris made comes right up to the bottom of the trough right here. And I mean, everything looks pretty good. It's not perfectly, you know, straight right now. The conveyor's a little cockeyed, but it's not going to be here for long. And as I crank this up, that back end should drop down a little bit as well. So for right now, that looks good. Okay, so in theory here, as I crank this up, that should go down and the motor is going to become level again. So the motor looks pretty level to me, like there. And did this come down at all? Oh yeah, it did come down. So that's good. All right, cool. So this is temporarily in position. I don't want to run it with wood going through it without that flap, because I think that flap is going to save us a lot of headache with stuff getting jammed up in the bottom there.
I just want to see. So don't cut that fancy new line. I know.
You want to grab a couple zip ties out of the driver's side of my toolbox? Okay guys, we are back. I don't really remember what I filmed or what I didn't, but we got this flap on. Chris is here, along with Justin, Mr. Utility. That's right. What did we just do, Chris? We put a 90 degree up here, a second 90, to divert these hoses from, they were like rubbing on here. We put some chafe on there to prevent the hoses from rubbing up on this part. Chris just put a new pull cord on the motor here. I just put seafoam in the gas and filled it up. We just greased the whole thing, all the pillow bearings, top and bottom. I got some hydraulic oil in a spray bottle here. So we just sprayed down the whole chain. All of that being said, what do you think?
I think it's ready to rock.
All right, well, you want to do the honors?
Sure.
So,
let's see if she wants to fire up now.
It sounded before like it wanted to fire up when the cord broke.
Wow.
Oh.
Oh, did we turn the gas back on?
Oh, the gas is off. Yep, that would be a good.
Gas is off, guys.
Gas
That'll
is
help.
off. Mr. Utility should have gotten that. There we go. Seems to be working all right. Paddles seem to be clearing. The flap, no problem. Alright, so I'm going to try this out for the first time here. Now let's see if it'll...
In theory, it should just funnel right in.
Right, let's see if it'll funnel. Let's see.
Pull back the re-split.
Huh?
Just have to pull back the re-split.
Right. Oh! There it goes! All right. And it keeps it all vertical in line too.
Not that one.
So much for that. That's pretty awesome. That's awesome. Sean is, we should go over there. Say hi to him. Yeah. It worked.
Yeah, it did. We finally put some wood through it.
Yeah, that's awesome. This has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely some kinks we're probably going to have to work out as we actually split more. You know, that was a pretty small trial run, but there is a pile of split firewood at the end of the conveyor.
At the right end of the
conveyor. The proper end of the conveyor. The splitter fairly easily was just pushing everything through the newly modified log table and the trough into the hopper. The horse stall mat did exactly what it needed to do. The only thing is, Chris pointed out that I bolted it on the inside, so there's like a lip, a 1-inch lip of the thickness of the horse stall mat, and the wood you might have seen was kind of getting caught on that lip. So if we just move it to the other side of the angle iron, and that will
smoother transition.
Yeah,
down
that will
onto the
right. That will eliminate that lip, and then therefore it'll be you know, nothing to hang up on.
And the other thing that we both kind of noticed around the same time was the log table where everything gets split onto. It's see-through. All the shards and stuff go underneath it, and it'll possibly jam up the end of the conveyor.
Right.
So we need to find some sort of deflector. Like before, we had the IBC top catching everything.
But now with the conveyor underneath it and the superstructure, the hitch and everything, there's no more room to put that IBC tote.
Right.
But we're going to have to create some sort of deflector to just protect those bottom sprockets from getting jammed up with debris and stuff. Mr. Fix-It over there is checking things out. What's the consensus, Mr. Fix-It?
I think everything you said was it.
It was spot on. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
10 cents for his 2 cents.
Right, exactly. So yeah, that was a quick trial run. Obviously, we're going to be splitting a lot more with it, but it's dark out, so we're going to head inside, and maybe we'll give this another try tomorrow and really try and split some wood, get that dump trailer dumped, and Lord knows we have plenty of wood to split. So
yeah, I don't see why this can't be a production machine. I mean, you're almost eliminating me on the other side. I mean, granted this was a small run, but I didn't know what to do with my hands. Like I was just watching.
You were just loading the stuff onto the tray. I mean, if it's small rounds, you don't even really have to feed them back, you know?
Right.
So this is I think this is gonna be a pretty big game changer, having this conveyor in real good, like working order. So we're excited for that. But as always, guys, if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button down below. Any questions, comments, or feedback, throw it down there in that comment section. But for now, I'm Jake.
And I'm Chris.
That's Mr. Fix-It. This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys here next time.